Greetings, YouTube. Firstly, for any of people viewing this in America, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey today. I'm going to review some more of the Savage World fan conversions that I downloaded, and if I remember correctly, I will put the link in the doobly-doo. Another batch here. It's like almost 300 pages of these. And I'm really enjoying this particular format because when I'm reading this, I can flip it open. So I read one side, I read the next side, and when I put it down, I don't have to worry about a bookmark. I'm really enjoying the fact that the book is laid out that way physically. So I am quite glad that I have the duplex printer that I do. And now I need to flip back to the front because there's my index. Okay, the first thing we have is the Savage Westeros setting. Now, I've never read the Westeros books at all. So I can't tell you if it is a faithful translation of that setting to the Savage World rules. However, there's enough information in this 32-page document that I feel quite confidently I could run a game that would definitely make people think it was set in the Westeros setting, even though I've never read the books. So in that regard, I think it's a successful document, and quite happy with it. The next is the Savage World of Slain. It's a 45-page document, and it's a translation of the comics and takes inspiration from the Mongoose Publishing D20 version of Savage World of Slain, which I own. Now, the other day, the last video I did, I reviewed Mystic Ireland, and I thought it was very good at presenting the Irish in a mystical context, and it would be very good for running that kind of campaign, and I still stand by those words. But that was almost, it's going to sound somewhat strange, as a realistic mystical Ireland, an Ireland taken from the mythology of our own past, while the Savage World of Slain is the mythology of the comic, which is based on that mythology. So it's one step removed, and things are a little more fantastical, a little more visual. It's a better maybe for the genre of comic books. And this document definitely gives you everything you're going to need to run a Savage World of Slain in the Savage World system. So good job on that. The next is the Savage Justifiers. Now, Justifiers role-playing game, I've done a review on that already, was a small digest size, like half-size book, and all the supplements are the same size. And it was put out ages ago, originally in the 80s, that dealt with beta humanoids, which is creatures which are a fusion of human and animal genetic material. They are created essentially as a slave race. And if they earn enough money and enough credentials, they can buy themselves out of slavery and become citizens in their own right. I had a slightly different take on that, and I may actually do a video someday where I read the timeline that I created for that setting. This gives you all the information you're going to need to run that kind of a setting. Now, to really run it effectively, you're going to need the Savage World Explorer's Handbook, and you really should have the Justifiers role-playing game as a reference. This is not a complete standalone document, but I think that those are both useful products to have anyway, so have as you will. The next is the Savage Dungeon Equipment. This is a very short 4-page document. Lists the kind of equipment that a person running a classic D&D game is going to need for their game. It does an admirable job. Next is Savage Earthdawn. This is the Savage World translation of the Earthdawn setting. And I own the original Earthdawn, and I thought it was a decent read. It just never clicked for me. It never really, hit the mark, so to speak. But this does a good job, especially because the Earthdawn system has a different take on magic, and the races are a little different. So it was nice to see them translated in a more up-to-date mechanic as Savage World is. I have no idea what edition Earthdawn is. I own some of the supplements and such, but all of them are the first edition. I have no idea what it's up to now. The next is Savage Fallout. Now, I've never played the Fallout games. I'm familiar with them because I watch videos about them. People who are in the same category of interest as mine are interested in them. Well, this is a really good document. There's almost no crunch in this. It's almost all fluff. And it has a timeline which is just awesome. It's very long, pages of timeline, and I love timelines. I love the little bullet points you get on a timeline that helps, to me at least, generate ideas without overwhelming me with data, without swamping me with someone else's thoughts about what you should be doing with that piece of data. I love timelines. I like writing them. I love reading them. And so this is a pretty decent-sized document. It's 97 pages, so it's got a lot of background information. You could run a post-apocalyptic game with this without any problem in either Savage World or any other system. I was really quite impressed with this. Even though the actual production values were a little on the lower side, it looked more amateurish in some of the other works in this. It was definitely, the content was there, and it was well worth your time to download. Next was Savage Iron Kingdoms, which is a translation of the Iron Kingdom setting, the people who do the War Machine miniature game, and it did a good job. Definitely gave you the option of playing the races from that game quite effectively, and presented you with their take on the dwarves and their take on goblins and things like that. So it was nice. It's not a huge document, 16 pages, but it's quite good. And the last was Savage Spells, which is a Savage Worlds translation of some of the classic advanced Dungeons & Dragons spells. I think you might actually even harken back to the basic encyclopedia version of these spells. It's only 6 pages. It does a decent job of presenting the spells, and it gives you an option for, if you're looking for more arcane powers for your Savage World fantasy character. I'm going to now go try to find that link so I don't forget to post it, and enjoy your turkey.